Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Paranormal News. Tonight's article comes from news.artnet.com, and this is a pretty cool one, man. The headline is Archaeologists may have finally solved the mystery of the disappearance of Roanoke's lost colony. The fate of Roanoke's 115 settlers has been a mystery for centuries. It was written by Sarah Cascone, and it was published November 6th, 2020. In 1585, the English settlers reached the New World and established a colony on the island of Roanoke, in what is now part of North Carolina, only to mysteriously disappear. The colonists' fate has become one of American history's most enduring mysteries, and now archaeologists have uncovered new evidence suggesting that the survivors splintered into multiple camps and assimilated into the indigenous population. Thanks to a secret message on a centuries-old map, a team from the First Colony Foundation, a North Carolina nonprofit dedicated to researching the history of the ill-fated Walter Raleigh colony, was able to uncover colonial-era pottery they believe belonged to some of the 115 men, women, and children abandoned on Roanoke in 1587. When the colony's governor, John White, returned from a 3-year journey back to England in 1590, all traces of the settlement and its inhabitants had disappeared. The only clue left behind was the word Croatoan, the former name of what is now Hatteras Island, carved into a post. There are many theories about what became of Roanoke, none of which are particularly pleasant. Historians have posited that the colonists were killed by Native Americans or hostile Spaniards, or that they died off due to disease or famine, or were victims of a deadly storm. But the researchers uncovered a new lead in 2012 while examining a map at the British Museum in London that White had painted of the Elizabeth era United States, titled La Virginia Pars. Hidden in invisible ink, presumably to guard information about the colonies from the Spanish, were the outlines of two forts. One 50 miles west of Roanoke, the same distance away that the colonists had told White they planned to move, according to his writings. The First Colony Foundation's team of archaeologists, led by Nick Lachetti, set out to investigate the site in Bertie County, North Carolina, in 2015. Promisingly, the possible settlement was close to Native American village called Mediquum, typical of early European settlements. And right here is the map that they're talking about. That little brown area is like a little patch. Underneath that is where it was written in invisible ink that the two forts were drawn. There was no sign of a fort, but just outside the village wall, the archaeologists found 24 shards of English pottery at what's been dubbed Site X. Ground-penetrating radar revealed another possible dig site 2 miles away. The search continued in December of 2019 at what's been dubbed Site Y, yielding many more fragments of ceramics from different parts of Europe. The fragments, which come from vessels used for food preparation and storage, suggest the presence of long-term residents. What has been found so far at Site Y in Bertie County appears to me to solve one of the greatest mysteries in early American history, the odyssey of the lost colony. William N. Kelso, Emeritus Director of Archaeology and Research at Jamestown Rediscovery, said in a statement, "Although the experts haven't ruled out the possibility that the artifacts may have been left behind by colonists from Jamestown, founded in 1607, Lachetti is confident that his find is evidence of a group of relocated Roanoke colonists. Notable is a lack of English pipes, which were ubiquitous among Jamestown settlers, suggesting the ceramics date from an earlier period. We are very confident that these excavations are linked to the Roanoke colonies. We have considered all other reasonable possibilities and can find nothing else that fits the evidence," a First Colony Foundation representative told ArtNet News in an email. "The excavations begin to reveal where the colonists went to live and how they tried to survive in the New World." But not everyone is buying this explanation for the colony's ultimate fate. I am skeptical, says Charles Ewan, an archaeologist at East Carolina University, told National Geographic. They are looking to prove rather than seeking to disprove their theory, which is the scientific way. Another theory about the colony is that the settlers moved to Croatoan, hence the apparently not so cryptic note. Birdie was the heart of enemy territory, Scott Dawson, co-founder of the Croatoan Archaeological Society, told the Virginian Pilot. It is the last place they would go. The colony literally wrote down they relocated to Croatoan. Earlier this year, Dawson published a book, The Lost Colony and Hatteras Island, detailing the findings of the Society's 10 years of excavations at Hatteras Island, led by Mark Horton, an archaeologist at the University of Bristol in England. Basically, the historical evidence says Hatteras is where they went, Horton told the New York Times in September. He is preparing a peer-reviewed study presenting his findings on the island, which include a rapier hilt, late 16th century gun hardware, and a slate writing tablet fragment. Of course, both recent archaeologist finds could be evidence of the Roanoke's fate. Possibly, said Jamestown Rediscovery President and First Colony Board member James Horn in a statement, a small group went to Croatoan Island in the fall or winter of 1587 to wait for John White to return, while the remainder moved inland. And that is the end of this article. Now, this last statement here, possibly a small group went to Croatoan Island in the fall or winter of 1587 to wait for John White to return, while the remainder moved inland. That, to me, is a very important statement, because that's what I actually think probably happened. All right, we did an episode of Staring into the Abyss about the Lost Colony of Roanoke, and I did a lot of research on this. And they were really good friends with the Croatoan Indians. So it's highly possible that they could have went there to their friends when things got really bad at the colony, because they were starving to death. So it's very possible they could have went there and hung out with their buddies. And then a group of them could have went to set up this other fort while some of them stayed behind to wait for John White to come back, because he was supposed to be back, but he got held up. So, I mean, that's very possible to me. I don't see why it couldn't be both things. Why they couldn't have went to the Croatoan Indians on Hatteras Island, and why they also couldn't have went inland to set up a new fort. To me, that makes sense. Maybe they went to the Croatoan Islands and their buddies told them about a spot where they could set up this fort that was a really good spot. So some of them went that way to do that, and some of them waited for John White to come back so they could say, hey, we're over here now. To me, that makes complete sense. As always, completely up to you to decide. If you have not heard the episode that we did on the Lost Colony of Roanoke, check that episode out. It is a brilliant episode. I go through all the main theories, and some of them are way far out there that have to do with aliens and zombies and all kinds of crazy stuff. There's a lot of weird theories about the Lost Colony of Roanoke, and I cover all the main ones on that episode, as well as give my opinion of what I think probably happened to them. So as always, up to you. You make up your own mind. And I will catch you on the next episode. Until I speak to you again, love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do I. Bye-bye.